When the Swiss National Bank put in place the 120 floor for Euro Swissy, many doubted the viability of the move. But 2 months on, it still remains intact and speculation is growing that SNB may increase the cap to 125. To give you the inside track on developments relating to the Swiss franc, I'm joined by Chris Walker from the London offices of UBS. Chris, how has the SNB managed to maintain this 120 floor for so long when many didn't think it was going to work?
Initially, when they announced the floor, that they put it in a context of pretty strong rhetoric. They said, we will defend this floor at all costs. We will do whatever is necessary in order to keep the policy effective. And the actual amount of pure intervention which was needed to back this up was pretty limited. And it's just the fact that you often have policymakers come out and continue this rhetoric in quite significant tones that it has been fairly effective. Also in the press, we've had a lot of various articles or speeches from various policy board members, and they've kept up their rhetoric quite resolutely all the way through this. We had Hildebrand over the weekend saying that the floor does remain intact. We've had Thomas Jordan on the wires about 10 minutes ago saying again that the franc is overvalued, and it does seem that they have a big degree of credibility to their policy.
So has it just been rhetoric, or are there signs that they've been selling francs as well?
We think it is purely rhetoric. We had, as I said, we had about 10 billion francs, we estimate, was the initial intervention period when they announced it early this year, and since then they haven't really been active. They've been active in the FX swaps market, and they've been playing around with various rates markets, but in terms of pure spot intervention, they haven't really been forced to do very much. And really the market has done the majority of the work for them, pushing it up close to 125, which is where people see perhaps the next floor announcement will be.
So what about this 125 floor then? How likely is it that we're actually going to see it?
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely now, and it's becoming increasingly likely as soon as the market prices it in, because the sort of marginal cost of them defending it at 125, even though the market has taken it to 125, it is decreasing, because they'll be pretty happy to see that they just need to essentially open their mouths and the market pushes it up for them. So as long as speculation remains intact, then it should remain around these levels, and then all they simply have to do is just announce they're moving the floor up rather than having to intervene from, say, a level of 120 to push it up to 125. Those are sort of two very different policies. So as long as the market does believe them and thinks that their policy is credible, which we think they will, then it should continue to stay around these levels, and they'll simply have to move the floor up.
As we've already pushed above 124, do you think we could see it in the very near future then?
It's hard to say exactly when it will happen. A lot of people are pointing towards the policy meeting on the 15th of December for an official announcement. If we look back at how it was done last time, it was actually announced when the CPI print was released, and we had CPI numbers yesterday which showed that deflationary fears are very much in Switzerland, and the SNB have already said many times that this is a monetary policy decision. So perhaps we'll have to wait for another CPI print, which will be at the start of December, I think, before the monetary policy meeting. But also, their announcements have been on a fairly ad hoc basis, so they probably want to keep the element of surprise. So I think perhaps we'll see it before the 15th, but it'll be a few days before if it is.
Chris Walker joining me there from inside the biggest Swiss bank. For more quality FX and market analysis, stay tuned to Dukascopy TV. Goodbye.